But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!
A lot of people in town are like, they're looking over walls, certain things. Like, it seems like I'm not. Some of the pictures I get, I'm like, how did you? What? You know? I'm like, how did you get that photo?
Inside info?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Wonder Boy?
Yeah, Wonder. Yeah. Uh-oh. Do you have a favorite player you like on the team?
Jimmy.
You like Jimmy? Yeah.
I mean, I have favorite players for like all different reasons, but just his just like his work ethic, his demeanor. I love a bit of a shit house, at the right times. And I think, he's obviously smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get into that yellow card, the threshold.
I was screaming like, oh, he stepped back a little bit. He definitely knows.
He knows where he's at.
Yeah.
He knows. That's why he has the band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's still like, yeah, I'll play that game when I have to.
Yeah.
At least I think, So, and it's just how he deals with all of that ridicule and just like unnecessary like vitriol.
Yeah.
I think is like it takes a very like special person to like rise above that. At one time when he had gotten subbed out and he was taking the long walk back, and somebody threw like a half full cup of beer at him, caught it, pretended to drink it, threw it over his shoulder, just like disregard it. Like
this is just one of these.
Yeah. And then so beyond that, his work ethic, I think, has to be like one of the strongest in that locker room.
Mental, like total mental
and physical.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you just see him like he is in incredible shape. I think, I mean, I'm going to just assume that influences other guys in that locker room. Was like, well, I'm gonna get my lifts up. You know, you breed a little friendly competition.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like a really good leader and just a positive influence. And I think he's hell of a player too.
He's one of those character guys that does keep that locker room together in those tough times when you lose to a Reading.
It seems that way. I mean, without having any inside information about it, again, like I don't want people to assume that like I have any sort of like direct lines to things. It's just something you sort of feel.
Yeah.
I do think he has a lot of positive influence. I assume
it's definitely evident too. And tomorrow he's actually going to get cheered because he used to play for Wigan. He was their captain, so probably won't be anything tomorrow. So that's a good sign. But the team that's come together. I mean, we have a bet going that if he continues with an unchanged 11, I got to get a tattoo that says unchanged 11.
Really?
Yeah. For
tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, I think he's done it like 4 games in a row, Parkinson. So unchanged 11. So I was saying, because every time in our pregame show, we're like, what's it going to be? Like, it's going to be an unchanged 11. And I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah.
It's interesting. The other thing about, this sport, this league, is that you don't hear a lot of news about like injuries, guys being banged up, potentially like missing games. It's just sort of like, oh, he's not, he didn't dress.
Yeah.
So that's how you know. Whereas like, baseball, NFL is like there are press conferences and like they're putting guys like on official like IL or IR reports, and this is just sort of like you don't really know. So
I do the team does a great, I don't know, does a great job because there's a lot of eyeballs on it, and they're very, you could see like when people walk in that they're right there. It's really kind of open, and it's not like that at other clubs, but they keep a lot of lid on certain things too, because there's a lot of people in town that are like they're looking over walls, certain things. Like it seems like I'm not. Some of the pictures I get, I'm like, how did you? What? I'm like, how did you get that photo?
Inside info.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Wonder Boy.
Yeah. Wonder. Yeah. There you go. I don't know. I know who he is. I've never met him, but there's a lot of.
I didn't want to know. I really didn't. I was like, no, I want to live in the mystery.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to know.
I have an idea.
Okay.
Like enough like context clues have come out and sort of like hints and things. So like I have an idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one, but honestly, like I would prefer the ignorance.
Yeah.
I kind of like living. I also think like those things aren't the worst for a club. I think it sort of helps a little bit of like mystery, as long as nothing is divulged or coming
Nefarious.
out that is right, that
Yeah.
is detrimental to how the club operates or anything within the sporting side of things, is
Mhm.
like the rumor mill is fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It
Yeah.
exists in every sport, and
Mhm.
like, yeah, why not?
I've always been cognizant to know because not to get ahead of things, but I want to know this too. Are you guys aware of like not to sound like of the local pundit of the other content creators that they're following the club, putting things out there?
I think a good amounts.
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot, more that have come up since our time,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, is there anyone in particular that like you're like thinking of that
No, I just didn't know if
maybe?
it was on your radar that to know that like we're doing this. We met a couple times. You guys are very open. I mean, I got a pass. You guys gave me a pass for the
Yeah,
summer,
yeah. I
which is great.
mean, like I subscribe to almost or follow,
Yeah.
pretty much like as many as I can to like the Fearless
Yep.
guys and the RRR
Yep.
guys and that sort of thing. So I try to at least keep my finger close to the pulse with
Hmm.
all of that, just because I'm also, very curious about like what opinions are, like what is like the temperature of the supporter base
Hmm.
of the town, like because I think it's important, right? Because there have been times where like I've gotten wind from something just, third hand or from maybe a social where it's like, oh,
Mm.
well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just bring that up and see if like we should look into that.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to just stay in the mix with those sorts of things because just the feedback of it all, right? Like
Yeah.
it's direct.
And nowadays, like everything's happened so quick too,
Yeah.
and it's all right there on social media and things like that too. I mean, it's pretty impressive. There are some really good podcasters out there that do good. I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into it
Yeah.
too, and but I think they talk about Red Passion, which I don't even know what it is, but
Hmm.
Humphrey was talking about he has a name on Red Passion. He goes on it sometimes, but he won't reveal his name. So I've never been on it, so I don't know. I don't even know what that is, to be honest with
Really?
you. I've never been on Red Passion.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And Humphrey is has
He said he has a that's actually on Talk Sport the other day, I think it was. He has a
well, it's like a blog spot, right? Or like it's like a community forum.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like Reddit, but for right.
For Wrexham. Yeah, he goes on there for a couple just to get some feedback and things like that. So I was like, all right, cool. So I don't know if you're on that. I'm not on it,
No,
but
maybe I should.
yeah, maybe I should.
But that's also like that's a site where you can also go like and see like where all the chants are,
It's,
right? Don't they have like a little tab for that? I
I
think
I have no
I'm
clue.
pretty sure.
I should
I'm pretty sure.
I'll look into that. Just let me make note looks into it. Yeah. But no, there is a global support that is really following this club. It really puts a lot of time, and it's so fun. We do shows every day, and there's so
I
much to
think
talk
that's so
about.
great. I
Yeah.
think that's so cool. I mean, I don't know if you care to put it in because you probably already told people, but like, what got you
Um,
so into it? You know what I mean?
it's so I've been I would say a fan of Rob since he started
Sure.
Sunny, and so I've always followed his career. And he just for me it was like when he bought the football club, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna. And I was already a football fan.
Sure.
We bought the club, and I started my cat was going through cancer at the time, so I used to wake up in the mornings and I could watch
Yeah.
and watch the game. So I sat there with my cat Salem, and Frank, we're here. I actually have his. I actually always have his little toy. Yep, I
No.
always have his toy. Yeah. So, and Rob's always been an inspiration to me just because, like, get the camera and go shoot. And I met my wife, and I always wanted to work with my wife, and he works with his wife and things like
Hmm.
that. And I'm like, he's living the dream that he bought the club. I was like, shit, man. And so I started watching the club. And then one day, Annie, she knows I'm up early and she's up early for work too. And she's like, why don't you just it has everything, it has sports, it has entertainment, all the stuff. Why don't you just start doing a podcast? And I was like, I don't want to do it because I like stopped acting and I didn't want to get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And then you know what? She just said, shoot the rehearsal, just go and do it. And so I just did it. And I sat there with my cat and we just started. And it just, I did one watch along and no one watched. And
Sure.
she's like, do not shut that off. I'm like, okay, And so she kind of just pushed and, she's a producer on the show and she just kept going. And now we're here. And
That's
now,
awesome.
so that's how I got into it. But mainly, it's like, Rob's always been an inspiration for what he's done in his career. And again, waking up and watching the games with my cat while he's going through cancer treatments, I've always been there.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
So
I'm always just fascinated about like what what brings in folks that weren't directly,
Yeah.
associated or come up from like generations
Mhm.
of the fandom. So yeah, that's great.
And like you said, like you care so much more about it. I've been following Manchester United since like 2005,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, yeah, I really into it. But then I never had that club that was mine,
Same.
and all of a sudden it's like, it just clicks
Yep.
and you just care. I mean, I spend more time probably doing this than anything else, so, but yeah,
Yeah, I really only ever cared about like international play,
yeah,
right? Just like World Cup or
hmm
CONCACAF for US.
yeah,
I'd get into it then, but didn't have a club because MLS wasn't really a thing when I was growing up yet, and San Diego didn't have a club at the time anyway. So I didn't gravitate toward it. But I'm really glad that I didn't, because the club that I did end up, becoming a humongous fan of
hmm
was worth that weight
yeah,
and probably more beneficial to my health.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If
Yeah.
I'd been doing this for like 20 more years, like
hmm
it can get so stressful. It's crazy.
I mean, the stress and the fun of it too. Like, you guys are on a roller coaster on every, like, you're hitting every aspect of it, you know,
Trying.
so, what do you do for fun, relax, and yourself in your spare time? If you even have any spare time, family?
Yeah, no, we I get some. I used to golf a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, actually, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't now. At the moment, so golf to get out, and then I have a 7-year-old daughter.
hmm
So try to take her out places. Go maybe play some putt putt,
Yeah.
arcade stuff. She was going to ice skating for a while, so
Okay.
that. And then the missus and we like to travel a lot. So I will try, when the opportunity presents itself, to like paperclip them onto,
Yes.
a Wrexham trip. There's been times where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go out and I know I'll be done with work stuff around like this date. So why don't you come out a couple days before?
hmm
And then we can transition from the work trip to the family trip. Go down to San Diego a lot, watch a lot of Padres baseball.
hmm
Uh, yeah, and then try to absorb as much content, but yeah, no, it's golf and family.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
it's tough to shut it off. I know, like Annie, she's always 24/7 going or something. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So it's tough to shut it off. But you got to take those moments. He said those moments to enjoy it, but also like being able to shut down.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know.
getting better about it, but it's even harder when like you really, really like the work you do,
Yeah.
right? Because
It doesn't
it
become
doesn't
work.
feel like work.
Yeah.
And so like, my wife or whoever will be like, why are you working? It's just like, because I want to. I want to be like
Yeah. This doesn't feel like work.
getting things done and
Yeah.
figuring things out. So
Yeah. I mean, much like this. This doesn't. This is awesome. This is the best. This is the best time of my day. For sure.
that's great.
But you mentioned your mom earlier too. She's a fan. She's a supporter.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been over now 3 times. Um, I think she probably just saw like obviously the documentary, but like
Mhm.
my sort of passion and excitement for it, and then she got into it. Also, I played soccer, so she went to a lot of my games. My nephew
Mhm.
is a real decent soccer player, so
Yeah.
she's going to a bunch of his games. So like she's into the sport, and then I think she just got very endeared with the documentary, and then going over there,
Mhm.
right, being able to meet. She's known Rob obviously
Yeah.
for a while, but being able to meet Ryan, see how much like he's into it,
Mhm.
and then the rest of like you know club staff over there, being able to meet the players
Yeah.
and falling in love with those guys. There's a few that she feels like she's like a teenage girl who's got like crushes. It's just like so bizarre.
I want to ask which ones, or let me guess. I have no idea. Maybe a Mullen. I don't know.
This season I feel like it's Fletch.
Okay.
She really loves Arthur.
Arthur's
She's a big fan of Arthur.
he's awesome.
Yeah,
Holy God. Yeah.
kid's very impressive. You forget like he's
23.
kind of kid.
Yeah.
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 Max too.
Mhm.
That would probably be my number two in the favorite player. Like I said, it's hard to pick,
Yeah.
but God, for him to be so mature and composed, like you remember what you were doing at 21?
Can
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
right? Like it's just like you are a professional. Not only are you really good at what you do, but like good head on your shoulders and just like a great representation of the club and the community. Like, yeah, I
I'm so
mean,
glad we kept him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so glad. I mean, it was awesome when that
Well,
happened.
and like, yeah, and I have fears that if we're in championship, you know, what potentially that means for him. Like,
Yeah.
obviously he's under contract, but you know,
And money, it's not, I think money talks into business and sport,
yeah,
but I think I think that there's you can see the attraction to the guys that have come. They're not coming just for money. They're coming because they want to be a
no,
part of the story, and it's definitely evident. You
yeah,
know,
and I think they want to be a part of the culture too, right?
yeah,
I think like this sort of clubhouse community like that exists like in Phil too, right?
hmm
In that locker room, you know what I mean? So it's not just like, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of opportunities here, but you're probably gonna have a really good time doing it.
yeah,
Like I think I've heard some guys say, like, trust me, you've never played at a club like this before. As a good thing.
yeah,
Because Rob and Ryan also care so much. I don't think there's a lot of owners out there that are like that are checking in on their players and wanting to take care of them, wanting to help them with things outside of the sport
hmm
or you know their life after the sport. You know what I mean? Just generally, like genuinely caring and
yeah,
investing in them, in the coaching staff, things like that. So I think guys gravitate towards that too,
yeah.
right? They want to contribute to that story, but then also like be at a place where things can, you know, feel that way. I think Ollie just did an interview,
Yeah, and,
Rathbone.
Men in Blazers. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Where and he sort of like a similar sentiment was just like there's just like nothing like it. I think Jack said the same thing. So yeah,
we've had
it's very specific and special.
we've had there's been ups and downs. I mean, the two car accidents, you know, Mullen not firing and things like that. The injury to Andy, you know,
Callum.
Callum Burton, you know, and an AO.
When he was going so good
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
he was fantastic. But it's not been an easy season, and you got that camaraderie that's
Yeah.
there is so impressive. You're right. You could tell that they are definitely fighting for each other,
Yep.
and they're ready to do it.
I also loved hearing Ollie talk about how Stevie wouldn't let him get too high. You know what I mean? Like after the Wickham match, they
Mhm,
had like the Bluetooth speaker on and we're
mhm.
trying to have a little fun. He's like, "There's nothing worth celebrating yet,
It's not
fellas."
over yet. It's not over till it's over.
I love
Yeah.
that.
There's a couple guys that talk about Rexing it up. You know,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
dude. There's fans
yeah,
that talk about that, and
yeah,
it's like, I get it as somebody who is 90% certain he is a fan of a very cursed baseball team,
yeah,
and there's just never gonna be any getting over that. Convincing somebody that like things are different now, like this is not the you know the same sort of like uh you don't want to call it bad luck
yeah,
or I don't know whatever it is, just like we don't have to have that mindset. We can change the mindset while
yeah.
still being
I
true,
think we
you
can do.
know,
Yeah.
to what the roots of this whole thing are, right?
Well, it's like that underdog story. You always like, when's the shoe gonna drop?
Yeah,
Always the shoe gonna drop. You
totally.
know. But it's like, you know, we played the heel for a little bit. Obviously, we go everywhere, and you know, everyone either they all hate us, whatever the
Hmm.
Disney BS. By the someone calling it Netflix, like it's not even on Netflix. But you get your facts right, guys. But I think that was the owner to. I think it was the owner to one of the League Two teams that called it.
Yeah, I
Um,
forget who it was, but I know exactly who you're
and I
talking
think they
about.
beat us or drew, not Salford, but someone worse than that. Not that, sorry, that's not no dag on Salford, but no, you know, it's the evolution. It's like you always think that the shoe's going to drop, you know, but at some point it might not. And I think, you know, if they do back to back to back this year,
Yeah, but it's also because you could kind of like I appreciate our supporters so much because they've got such a great sense of humor and self-awareness, right? Where they just like they will own it and
hmm
wear it and like
right
I
here,
know like
yeah,
yeah, I'll be your Disney piss boiling Reds. Like that's fine. Like I'm living my best life right now.
yeah.
I don't care what you call
Call me
me.
whatever you want, but I always go scoreboard. Look at the
Right,
scoreboard.
right,
The scoreboard's
right.
right there, you know.
Yeah. Look where we were 4 years ago. Look where we
Yeah.
are now. It's like
It's incredible. Foz did give me one of the greatest, like his save. I'm like, oh my god,
oh my God.
I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that. I woke up everybody in the neighborhood when that happened. But you can't call me whatever you want as long as we go up.
That moment was insane.
Yeah,
I mean, you just don't think that that's going to happen. That's what I'm saying with everybody being like the other shoe's going to drop. When is this like when's the negative really going to start to like you know show up?
yeah,
Because like you said, there's been obviously trials and tribulations, but like in general, it's starting to feel like we're a little
It's a little different.
touched.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like we're a
There's the
little
magic there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, you call it fairy dust?
Yeah.
Tinkerbell?
Yeah.
For Disney FC?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but it definitely, but it's hitting on all, and maybe it won't always be that way. But right now, like
No.
we're on, and we need to go, and I think we enjoy it.
And then-
Yeah,
I'm getting a little big for my britches over here.
yeah. Maybe we're only going to win 1-0 tomorrow. I don't care. Let's be the 1-0 Kings. I don't care. I mean, let's just do it. But
That's another thing that like I have a hard time swallowing. Like as somebody who's pretty new to the fandom of the sport, right? And like the level of soccer that I play is
what
like
position do you play, by
high
the way? I forgot to
school.
ask you.
So I was a box-to-box midfielder,
Okay.
or I would go off to right wing sometimes.
Okay.
So when I was younger,
Destroyer?
when I played in like just like the public league, like ASO, I would play striker, but like the level of talent is not as good there. And then so I got more into club in high school, was playing more in the middle, and then eventually was primarily like right winger because I have no left foot to speak of.
Okay.
But I mean, back then I had a real decent amount of stamina.
Yep.
Win a lot of 50-50 balls.
Have you played, well, before, obviously, now, have you been playing soccer at all? Or
No. First moved to LA, there was a couple of like friends that would like go play it. I'd go like moonlight with them and their little like Saturday leagues.
Yeah.
But that's honestly like another reason why I'd like to get my knee right, because I wouldn't mind going back and playing some just amateur funsies soccer league.
I used to play in my 20s. I used to play in the Geezers League on Saturday morning, and everyone used to come hungover. Like it just Robbie Williams would come play with us, smoking
Really?
cigarettes at
That's
halftime.
incredible.
But it was a lot of fun. But
There's got to be an indoor
there has to be, yeah.
a field around here somewhere, right? And that you don't need as much stamina.
No, and
that's not as
you
bad.
can come over hungover if you need to.
There's literally a wall you can lean on.
Yeah. I'm not very good, but I like playing. I mean, I'm a really good EAFC guy.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm really good at EAFC, especially with my Wrexham team, which might go up in League One in my season. But it's out here. I don't really get to play that much. But golf, once you get better, we gotta go play some golf.
Definitely.
Yeah, gotta play golf.
Definitely go play some golf.
Yeah.
I used to be decent, so I need to get back there.
My father-in-law says, how many houses did you hit today? Not how good you did. How many houses did you
My dad just reminds me that he has 2 hole-in-ones and I have none.
Oh, really? Hey, by the way, I got 2, and then just hang up, right? Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, I do want to be cognizant of everything, and thanks for having us in. And
That's great.
What game do you think we're going to go up on?
Let's see. So we go Wigan, and then it's Bristol, and then it's Blackpool, and we're back for Charlton, right?
Charlton, yeah.
I think it'll be Charlton.
Okay.
Officially. I think it'll be like, it's pretty much in the bag, but like not mathematically there yet at Blackpool.
Yeah.
And then I think it'll actually we would be able to pop champagne
from your lips, man. Let's do that. Yeah.
Another pitch storm. What are we gonna say? We're gonna save it for.
I'll be in the Cop by myself.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think we're gonna do a pre-show. I'm trying to do it at the Turf. Maybe at the Cop by myself, and then if we go up there, I'll meet you in the pitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I might run down for that one.
Yeah, you'll be fine. I want to think it maybe one earlier if it's the Blackpool game. Would it be
Blackpool?
Yeah, I'd love it to do that, and then just coast. But that's not going to happen. I don't think.
We'll see. I mean, it's so great now just because every match, every match is really important when you look back and you'd be like, oh, we only got up by 3 points, 6 points, right? But just like in any sport, right? Like week 2, week 1 in the NFL, you're like, like first couple weeks MLB baseball, like, we start 10-2, but it's like, it still doesn't feel until you get right there and you're like, it is right there. And now it's like, it's so
Parkinson has done
important.
Squeaky. He's done such a great job of just like making it very simple. It's like, don't lose, don't go outside of ourselves, and just like it's tournament football.
Well, that's what I was going to start to get to was that, being the the win by one, just like Legion, like,
Mhm.
so what?
Where does
Like,
badge
yeah,
of honor?
like the criticism that has been coming about, like, oh, you guys aren't that good.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, defense is a part of this sport,
I think it's
correct?
defense
Yeah.
wins championships, I believe that
Right,
was
right,
said
right.
before. Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Arthur's tied or not leading
16 or
in
17.
clean
Yeah.
sheets.
They get 16.
I mean, our back line is just like stout and awesome. Like, we don't let people score for the most part.
No.
And that is that sort of has to like reflect on your strategy for aggressiveness and what you do on the offensive side of things.
Mhm.
Like, we don't need to be doing certain things because we're so confident back here. Why are we trying to go light up the score sheet and make ourselves vulnerable in
Yeah.
transition or whatever that
Don't
is?
stretch,
Yeah.
and he's done a great job. Like, there's one guy I love Dobson, by the way. Also, he had a
Yeah,
huge guy.
who's your favorite player?
Um, I would say
Tough question, huh?
it is a tough question. This year, it's been Ollie Rathbone.
Yeah.
Ollie Rathbone, too. I call him the honey badger. He just,
That's
yeah,
funny. Okay,
yeah.
so my wife calls him a race car
Oh, yeah,
instead of Rathbone race car.
yeah.
And so now anytime like he does something on the pitch, she'll just send me like either a picture of Lightning McQueen
Yeah.
or just say like ka-chow.
That's
Which is
awesome.
great for the Disney
Yeah.
FC of it all. It's like,
Sure.
that's perfect.
Yeah, that's great. He's so good.
Race car, I don't know
race car.
why. I think that happened at the Cosm match.
Oh, really?
Because remember that was the match where
We scored the
he was
late
playing like
goal.
a maniac and he
Yeah.
scored the late goal.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was great. That was great. You guys weren't there for the one after that. The Huddersfield match.
No.
It was so silent there.
Interesting.
Everyone was watching the game. I was like, and I'm doing the commentary, and I'm like, should I just
Can
be
everybody
quiet?
hear me?
That's so that game was incredible. But this
They
year,
should have just given you like the auditorium.
yeah,
mic
like
and
let me do it. I got it. Yeah, let me do it. But those games are incredible. But I think Ollie Rathbone for me has been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And then we always do lettuce of the match, like who's got the best hair of the match.
Oh, sure.
And he wins lettuce of the match every single week.
Really?
Yeah, every week.
I bet if Fletcher let it out of the
If he
top
let it go,
knot,
yeah.
you'd have a different vote.
Although he is growing out the bottom. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's preparing for a new cut. I need, we got to ask him, like, are you growing it out? What's going on?
That's incredible.
Yeah. But Rathbone usually gets lettuce in the match for us. But now Smitty, I'm really impressed with Smitty. We call him Bedhead because
Mhm.
he's just, but he's unbelievable how we got him. And I do feel bad for Reading. I hope they do stay in the playoffs and they get
Yeah.
sold. And obviously, if we go up, maybe they'll come up with us. But I hope that I hope that they can survive. But Smitty's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's it's just like got a gear,
Yeah.
that like you
He's a
maybe
fighter.
hadn't seen like a little bit.
Yeah.
Just
Mhm.
and just angles that you play, stuff like that. I saw there was one where I think he like kind of had like a dead red run, but he played the angle
Mhm.
on it, which just opened up much more. It's just like I don't know. It's just like you see somebody like that, you're just like, man, you're operating on
A different,
on just a little different gear.
That
You know what I
game,
mean?
that game the game slows down enough for him, and but you could tell he's different gravy out there too. And I got to feel bad for JM, for Marriott too. I mean, he looks good now, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I broke my ankle. I had,
And just
like,
like the way it was during training. I
Yeah.
mean, just such a freak thing and starting so hot.
Yeah.
He's probably got goal of the season number 2. It
the
might be
chested
one.
down and then yeah.
No, that came off of the Ollie volley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ollie. I think Ollie and Mullen will have a part to play at some point. I think, and those that I don't want to get whatever happened, he's not playing, but I hope to see them at least one last
I
time.
too. Love
You
both
know?
those guys. And look, I mean, regardless, they are legends
100%.
of that town and of that club. And there is a lot of love from us
Mhm.
for both of them. I know from the town. Like there are just those are the parts of the sport that are like, that suck.
Yeah.
They're hard. And it's tough. Like when guys like,
Yeah.
don't come along all the way for the side,
Yeah.
or you put somebody out on loan. It's just like that sucks because
Yeah.
you get close and you realize that like they're really good people, and
Hmm.
it's just like
Well, Chose did some halftime stuff with the
yeah,
yeah, he said
for Sky, and
yeah,
he's at Forest Green right now,
yeah, I think
working
they're
on a third, working on back to back to back for himself.
yeah, he came wearing a suit, I think, to do his to do the halftime stuff, the commentary. But I miss his throw sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I think when he showed up in his fancy dress, a lot of the guys were giving him grief about it.
You're doing
Just
sign language. What are you doing? Yeah. At least at least you should have tipped him off for when you went for the interview with Rob, and said, "Don't wear a fancy dress." Inside, you know what he's doing. You know. So,
that's
um,
great.
well, no, I appreciate your time. Thanks, man. It's good
You
to
got
good
it.
to thank you very
Cool.
much, man.
Love
Appreciate
it.
it. Good luck for the rest of the season,
Thank
and
you.
we're
Thank
all
you.
looking
You
forward to.
too, and good
Thank you.
luck. I hope this becomes a real thing, and it's clear that you're passionate about it. So yeah, nothing but the best for you. I hope it keeps growing and growing.
Thank you very much. You
Yeah.
guys make it very easy, and we're looking forward to seeing what you
Cool.
guys do at Welcome to Wrexham
Yeah,
too, man.
just more voices and more people to like tell the stories, and that always helps.
Awesome.
So
Well, we're here. Thank you very much.
cool.
Appreciate it. All
Thanks,
right.
dude.
All right. Thank you.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!